When it's the weekend, it's got to be Michael Snyder. We go out to the left coast of the United States to check in with him. Where are you today? Down Hollywood?
I am indeed. My little short film played the Holly Shorts Festival yesterday at the Chinese Theater. That was fun, so I felt like plugged into the whole thing. It was beautiful. But, let's talk about commercial releases, the new movies that are coming out this weekend. Shall we get a roll on?
Go right ahead.
War Dogs. I got a kick out of War Dogs, which is directed and co-written by Todd Phillips of the Hangover movies, which are, hit, miss, and miss. But this one is a step forward for him, and it's based on a true story, and where have we heard that before? That's been tweaked a bit for humorous and dramatic purposes. It's all about two guys in their early 20s, played by Jonah Hill and Miles Teller. They're Ephraim and David, and they were school buddies, frenemies, etc. And Ephraim is a scam artist who has figured out a way to make bids to the U.S. government on military contracts. There's some kind of loophole that allows them to do it, and he convinces the desperate David, who needs money with a adorable young wife and a baby on the way, to get involved with him in this gig. David has been working as a massage therapist, and he's sick and tired of it, and he wants the money. And these guys get in way over their heads. They live in Miami Beach. They start doing the high life, and they're dealing with international arms dealers. It's a recipe for trouble. And I have to say, doggone good. War Dogs worked for me, especially considering what I feared with the hit and miss of Todd Phillips' filmography and these two guys. I'm not a big fan of either Miles Teller or Jonah Hill, but they are very well cast, they're very well matched, and just right for these roles. To be fair, I love them when they're playing douchebags in well-written and well-directed movies like Teller in Whiplash and Hill in Cyrus or Wolf of Wall Street, which he sort of channels here, or Superbad. But a little obnoxiousness goes a long way, and here it's totally appropriate. It's tense, it's funny, both of the characters are striving, self-serving, and duplicitous, so anti-heroes to be sure, but the fact that this is really based on a lot of actual occurrences, albeit somewhat trumped up, makes it even more exciting as they leap into deals to arm the Afghan military. When these two Americans end up in the Middle East, it's just dynamite. So I totally enjoyed War Dogs. It's not a great film, but a very enjoyable experience to watch. Ben-Hur, oh my God, Ben-Hur is back? It's more like Ben-Him again, but seriously, they have remade the classic story based on a best-selling novel that was subtitled A Tale of the Christ and spawned the original Ben-Hur widescreen blockbuster in 1959. Spoiler alert, Jesus is in this thing, but he barely qualifies as a cameo. He's sort of important to the movie, but the story is basically about Judah Ben-Hur. And Jack Houston from Boardwalk Empire and other fine projects is nice guy, Jewish Hebraic prince Judah Ben-Hur, who lives in comfort with his family in posh Jerusalem back when the Roman Empire was conquering everybody and pushing the children and adults of Israel around. Again, this is the same character that kept Charlton Heston's biblical bona fides going in the 1959 epic after he had done the Ten Commandments. So, of course, Chuck was more of a badass, square-jawed, tough guy as Judah, even when he was trying to sell the noble Hebrew thing. I guess people figured, hey, he played Moses. This other Jew will be a piece of cake. And Houston plays him more as a fancy boy until strife toughens him. Toby Kebbell is Judah's adopted brother, Roman-born but taken in by the family when he was a wee orphan boy. Clearly, the brothers are destined to have issues. All I can tell you is the action sequences, specifically an on-sea battle with Judah trapped as a chained-up slave in a galley, and even more so the climactic chariot race, which everyone loves in the first film, they are spectacular reasons to see this. And Houston is, of course, a better actor than Heston. But I was left with a feeling of why bother. The original, for all of its stiff and stately grandeur and melodrama, had a better, maybe even a more reverent script that delivered greater emotional punch. The weird thing is the people behind this. Directed by Timur Bamendikov, the Russian filmmaker behind the vampire movies Night Watch and Day Watch, which I loved, and the cool comic book adaptation Wanted, but he also did the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. And it was co-written, this is the weird, the curveball, co-written by John Ridley, who gave us 12 Years a Slave as a writer and director, is one of the main guys behind American Crime Story and a Jimi Hendrix biopic. So the pedigree is really strange, but there's talent. But it's also a production of Mark Burnett and Roma Downey's Faith Factory of Bible-oriented commercial films and TV shows, so there's an agenda. Ultimately, I thought it was a fail. But man, the visuals, they just rock my world. Kubo and the Two Strings is an animated film of great beauty and power that goes to the heart of the classic hero's journey and conjures something fresh and timeless out of it with the aid of a gorgeous ongoing meld of stop motion and CGI animation from Leica, the company that brought us Coraline and Paranorman, among other films. There's a poignant story here, fine voice acting, a multi-dimensional quest and an ode to the power of storytelling, music, and love. It's a beauty. It has an Asian setting, and Kubo is a kid who has musical skills, and he tells stories to the people in his local town, but he has been saddled with being an orphan, and he wants to know what happened after his mom sort of disappears. So he joins forces with a monkey and a beetle and goes out on a quest to find what happened to his mother and father. It's kind of a beautiful samurai-influenced tale, and the voice acting is terrific. Charlize Theron is Monkey. Matthew McConaughey, of all people, is Beetle. And it's a good and a beautiful movie. I totally recommend Kubo and the Two Strings. All right. Imperium is a very timely and topical film starring Daniel Radcliffe as an undercover FBI agent who's trying to infiltrate a ring of white supremacists. I mean, in this election season that has revealed in true horror the racism and intolerance that drives an uncomfortably large swath of ignorant, self-serving, or supremely bigoted Americans, Imperium is a must-see. Very intriguing, a little melodramatic in places, but Radcliffe is great. And we really learn about, the sort of kind of bland face of hatred in America through this film. It's directed by a guy named Daniel Ragosis and written by him, and also features good supporting work from Toni Collette and Bern Gorman, Sam Trammell from True Blood. Toni Collette plays his handler in the FBI, the Daniel Radcliffe character's handler. And you buy him as an American, you buy him as an agent, kind of a nerd agent. It worked for me. All right, Morris from America is a romantic, coming-of-age misadventure of a 13-year-old African-American kid living in Germany, with Craig Robinson playing the boy's father. And the kid, Marquise Christmas, who plays Morris, is very good. There are so many different kinds of coming-of-age stories. So one like this also has the kind of added fish-out-of-water element. I like the actors and the premise and the direction, the script and some of the attitudes that he encounters, because he can't escape racism, especially in Germany, which is such a white country for the most part, even though there's an influx of immigrants now. But, it was a little uncomfy here and there. Nonetheless, the kid's great. Craig Robinson as his father's great, and I thought Morris from America would be a fun watch on video, if nothing else. The People versus Fritz Bauer is a fine and fascinating film that tells a very worthy story set in Germany in 1957. It's about the Attorney General, Fritz Bauer, who finds out where Adolf Eichmann, the colonel responsible for a lot of the deportation and final solution aspects of the quote-unquote Jewish problem during the Third Reich, they find out that he's hiding in Buenos Aires, and now it's all about trying to extradite him and bring him to justice. And Bauer himself is a Jew who left Germany and comes back under the new administration, so there's a lot of interesting subtext, and it's pretty powerful stuff. And, of course, Bauer doesn't really trust the German justice system, so he decides to take matters into his own hands and team up with the Israeli Secret Service to extradite this guy from Buenos Aires. Good performances all the way around. It's subtitled when the German is being spoken, so get ready for that. But I do think it's a worthwhile film and something, a story that I didn't know much about that I now know more about, and I'm glad I do. We'll wrap up with Lo and Behold, Reveries of the Connected World, which is a new documentary from, of all people, Werner Herzog about the glories and pitfalls of the all-pervasive internet and the growth of AI as seen through his cameras. And it's all over the map, but I thought it was totally cool and very educational, while at the same time holding my attention from back in the earliest days of the net to now. So that's it. Movie land. What do you got going on, buddy?
That's it. Nothing.
Anything on TV you're watching? You got to be watching something.
Nothing. Why? There's nothing on.
I bet you and your sweetheart went to see Florence Foster Jenkins.
Yes, we did.
And what did you think of that, sir?
I thought it was maybe the best movie I've seen this year.
Anything further to go on that?
We went and saw Hell and High Water.
Oh, and? Good little, like, Western noir, in its way.
Mediocre.
Yeah. I enjoy. Maybe standards have dropped so low that it seems a little better than it should have. But I thought that it was great to see Jeff Bridges do his thing, and I thought all the actors.
No, his same old thing.
Yeah, his old thing, not his young thing. His old thing.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this edition.
That's fine. Anyway, you can catch me at on Twitter at Culture Blaster and on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Facebook page. The Culture Blast. That's it. Michael Snyder's Culture Blast. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. And stay tuned for more GABNet, which is coming up right after this.